Hey there, my name is Vaughn, and this is the Vaughncast Show. This is a podcast that focuses on mental health, breaking societal stigmas, harm reduction, addiction, and recovery. If you like what you hear, subscribe and leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, follow the podcast Instagram at the Vaughncast Show, where I post video content from the show. All right, let's get into today's episode. All right, welcome to the Vaughncast Show. I'm your host, Vaughn. Hope everybody's doing well today. Happy Friday. Today I got Eric with me from Now We're Here podcast. How's it going, man?
Good, Vaughn. How's everything?
Everything's been cool. It is my day off today. And today we're doing something a little different. Actually, it's my first time doing something like this. We are talking about our favorite summer songs. I figure it's appropriate because I think this weekend is the last weekend of summer.
Yeah, I think so. It's cooling down a lot, thank goodness. Last week was just killer hot, way too hot.
Yeah, does it get really hot out in where you're at in San Diego?
Oh man, last week or the week before, it was up in the hundreds. It was insane. And then this week, it cooled down a lot. I love the clouds. I love this more chill weather. But I think it's going to warm up a little bit for the weekend and then cool back down. And hopefully it stays down, man. This heat's killing me.
Yeah, man. Same here out in the valley. It's also pretty hot. I think a couple weeks ago it was like 110, 113. And it cooled down significantly here too, where I wear a jacket at night now. And yeah, it's going to get a little hotter, like 98 degrees. But that's like, compared to what we went through, that's okay. You know, it's to cool back down. So, man, summer songs, bro. For me, summer songs, like, they teleport me back to that summer, you know, whether it be a couple years ago or 10 years back. You know, a lot of times just upbeat energy. The songs with feel good lyrics, catchy hooks, nostalgic or romantic vibes. What defines a summer song for you?
Kind of the same thing. It just takes me back to a time when like things were easier. For me personally, driving down in the Strand and Oceanside with the windows down, the music up, and just taking everything slow, taking in the weather, the scenery, and just something that makes me just feel good. I feel good. Just reminds me of and that's the heat that I don't mind. Not the recent heat, but like the summer with good vibes heat.
Yeah, I like what you said that times were simpler. The songs I picked are from 2003 and 2004. And man, life was so much simpler, even though I thought, man, it's so tough dealing with breakups, dealing with like petty things with like friends. You know, I don't have to worry about bills and rent and credit and a job. So yeah, it takes me back like, wow, I really had it easy back then.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, well, I got one on the list that I'll share with you in a little bit. That's not so long ago.
Okay. So yeah, today we're going to go through our favorite summer songs. Go first, man. This was in 2004. Fat Joe's Lean Back featuring Remy Ma, produced by Scott Storch. Dude, like, I feel like we're around the same age, but when this song came out, it was everywhere. And my friends used to crump. Are you familiar with the crumping, that dance?
I'm familiar. I wasn't doing it, but I'm familiar. I remember.
Yeah, I never did it, but they did, and they kept playing it over and over to practice, and it kind of was drilled into my head. But what I liked about the song too, you can kind of follow along with it. It's simple, man. You just pull up your pants and lean back. No extra like fancy dance moves. And yeah, man, it was just like, it was so dope, dude. I mean, the beat was on point. You know, I like Remy Ma's verse, the part where she talks about, what does she say? We don't pay admission and the bouncer don't check us and we walk around the metal detectors. I'm like, oh shit, that's a pretty hard bar. I saw the video, it was pretty cool. I watched it again and again. I saw the video. I'm like, fuck, man. I remember what I was doing, who I had a crush on at the time, who I was with. And like, just the video brings me back and has some cool cameos with, what was it? Kevin Hart before he was Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
It had, Lil Jon, when Lil Jon was at his prime, and it had DJ Khaled before he was DJ Khaled, like way before. I saw an old picture. I'm like, this was 20 years ago. I'm like, damn, that was DJ Khaled before. Well, we know him now as DJ Khaled, but it just brought me back, dude. It's like, fuck, that was 20 years ago, man. Like, time flies, dude.
And when you say it's 20 years ago, man, that kind of hurts.
It really
That's
does.
something that's on my regular. I mean, I have like different playlists on my Spotify, and that's on a playlist that like my kids don't want to listen to because they're just like, well, other than the cuss words, they're like, man, what is this? That's old. That sounds weird. That's not something you hear on the radio. I'm like, I know music was different.
Yeah, it really was, man. So, and I think what I think something like what did Fat Joe said? He said something about like, oh man, what did he say? He said something. Wait, let me pull it up. This fool said something pretty cool. He said, kids clapping, let the spark the play. Shot these fools in the squad got scar in their face. I'm like, oh fuck, that's a hard ass bar. I'm like, damn, I just caught that. But yeah, it definitely was a good vibe, dude. Like, it was overall fun vibe. It brought me back, dude. So that's one of my picks, man. Fat Joe, Lean Back. Whenever I hear it, the first intro or the beat, I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like I get goosebumps just thinking about it, you know?
Yeah, and the funny thing is about Fat Joe as a rapper, like people knew he was a good rapper. People knew he was a real lyricist. I mean, he hung out with Big Pun forever. They're like best friends. And then he dropped that and people were like, oh, he can make hits too. It's like, yeah, Fat Joe can do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, he hung out with Big Pun. He was part of Children of the Corn, you know, like Mace and Cameron back in the day. Or no, I'm sorry, Digging in the Crates, I think. Yeah, Digging in the Crates he was part of. And that was like this big super group, I think, in New York, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think even nowadays he's still kind of overlooked as like not being a top hard rapper, but he really is. And the
Definitely.
funny thing about Fat Joe, I know I love to get off track, but I saw a video the other day. I sent it to a friend. I didn't know he was a graffiti artist. Not a tagger, but like he can make some stuff. And I didn't know that until I sent it to a friend who does stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, Fat Joe's like, what pillar of hip hop right there. He knows that.
I had no idea. That's a pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that was my pick. What's one of your picks?
One of them I put that reminded me is Corrupt's little brother, Roscoe. He had an album a long time ago. I think it might be a second album, but a lot of people don't know Corrupt had a little brother who could also rhyme. He sounds kind of like him. The song is Summertime Again from 2006. Wrote it down. Yeah, 2006. And just from the very start, it just goes, and damn, I was about to start singing, but I love Cali. I love Cali. And it has this whole like synthesizer beat to it. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of Zapp and Roger in there, but I'm not sure who actually produced it. But it just from the start to finish just has this real cool, like cruising at the beach, but kind of vibe to it.
Right. You know, man, I am familiar with Young Roscoe. I remember buying one of his CDs at like, I think there was that place in Long Beach, like it was like a donut shop. It was this place where like Snoop Dogg was at. It was his Long Beach record store. I bought a CD from him. And there was another song by Young Roscoe. I totally forget, but it was a pretty good summer song. But that sounds about right, dude. I mean, definitely like West Coast has some good vibes with that, and Young Roscoe is definitely overlooked, dude. And I gotta check out that song afterwards. But
Yeah.
what were you doing like when you heard that song? Do you remember what you were doing at the time? Like who you hanging out with?
Not really, because when Roscoe came out, it was more of like he wasn't a radio kind of guy. Like his stuff wasn't really on the radio. It was just one of those like if you ventured out into the known artists, whoever they're hanging out with, like like Sugar Free, you wouldn't really know him unless you like went into Snoop Dogg and East Siders and people they're hanging out with. So I found Roscoe because I'm like, I like Daz and Corrupt, I like Dog Pound, that kind of West Coast. And then I'm like, oh, cool, Corrupt has a little brother. Oh, wow, his little brother can actually rhyme. And he's really good, pretty good, you know? But the first song I think you're thinking of might be Smooth Sailing, which is also
That's
a
the
really
one.
good one. Yeah, because when I was first thinking, I'm like, oh, as soon as you told me about this topic, I'm like, Roscoe, but which song is it? And I pulled up Smooth Sailing. I'm like, that's a good one, but it's not the one I was thinking of. But at the time, I just know in general around 2006, things were easier. I didn't have these kids. One of them's looking at me right now, but but yeah, it was before all that. Things were simpler. It was just me, myself, and I. I mean, I'm happy now, of course, obviously, but just the vibe where I can just kind of. He's going to look at me when I say this. I could do whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally totally can get where you're coming from, man. 2006 was definitely a vibe. 2006, I think I was still on MySpace. AIM
Oh,
was still a thing. Hitting up LimeWire. Um, I had a Nano Shuffle, and I
oh
had a
yeah.
Motorola Razr phone.
And I never had the razors. I always had like something else. I had the Palm Pre for a bit, and I felt like I was really balling with the Palm phone because it had a little keyboard and looked like a little business guy. But it didn't have the phone with the little roller ball in the middle. That was something else that other people had that I didn't have.
Yeah, I had a BlackBerry for a little bit. It looked cool, but man, my fingers like were hurting from all the texting.
Yeah, yeah, they had the really hard buttons.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was on MySpace too. That was a fun time. And actually at that time, 2006, with MySpace, my son's right here. I don't want to say it too loud, but the whole saying MySpace to my place, I met an ex on there, and I ended up moving to the Bay Area. But ironically, it wasn't, not ironically, but it wasn't during the time of, it wasn't a summertime. It was like a December to June kind of thing. And we moved together back to San Diego. But living in the Bay during E40's, I can't remember his album.
get a report card.
And maybe Ghetto Report Card. It was like his biggest commercial one, at least at the time. That came out, and that was crazy being in the Bay Area during that time because a lot of other artists were coming up at known artists up there, or if you're in the Bay Area hip hop were already big, but were coming up commercially at the time. That was pretty crazy. And that was pretty fun.
Bro, I used to live in the Bay, and I think was it the hyphy area? Hyphy era you were talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, that was next level, bro. Mac Dre, B40, Kick the Sneak, the Federation. Dude,
Yes.
oh my gosh, bro. Like the Thizzle dance, the Thiz dance. I know what you speak of, bro. Like that was a vibe. I moved from NorCal to LA for school in 2006, and like 2004, 2005, 2006, that was like the hyphy area. So I totally get it, man. Like Bay Area definitely had their shine. It was just, it's difficult to explain, but it was definitely a movement, man. I get where you're coming from.
Well, now that it's like jogging my memory. So 2006, not in the summer, but it was around that time when I moved up there. So, I mean, I like the Bay Area music. It was way different, but I was really, like I mentioned, like finding your known artist and trying to find who else is related to him. I found Roscoe because he was corrupt. And while in the Bay Area, I was like, I really wanted to listen to some SoCal LA music still, that type of West Coast music. And that's how I found Roscoe. And so that's kind of made me feel more at home listening to him when I'm stuck in the Bay. Because I felt kind of stuck up there for personal reasons. But my son wants to watch TV. No, not right now. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy vibe with that. And then I learned pretty quick who Mac Dre was because up to that point, I didn't know who Mac Dre was. And I'd had to ask some people, who's Mac Dre? And they were like, what are you talking about? He's like a god up here. So I learned pretty quick, like, okay, don't say anything about him, bad about Mac Dre.
Bro, I remember this was sophomore year, junior year college. I was studying for a chemistry test on Sunday at a Starbucks when we found out Mac Dre was shot and killed in Kansas.
Ooh.
That's how like vivid my memory was. Like, oh shit, it's R.I.P. But yeah, he's definitely like top tier there.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a god up there, and for good reason, man. He's a good rapper, good fun rapper. I see exactly why he gets the credit that he gets.
Yeah. So my second song, man, I'm laughing because it's all right. It's 2004 still. Lil Flip, Sunshine featuring Lea, produced by the Symphony. Dude, like I definitely every summer I had a different crush on a girl, whether we were dating or not, kind of thing. And this was definitely like that that song you dedicate to a crush. I visited LA at the time on vacation because I went to school in NorCal, so I visited my mom out here, and I hang out with friends and everything. Just in summertime when my mom was at work, and there was this girl, and we started dating or like talking, right? And obviously it couldn't last because I didn't live there. And this song came out like around that time, and every time I thought about it, like, damn, like, this was a really fun time. But yeah, dude, it was a trip, dude. Just the chorus, I think for me was my favorite. Every time it would come on, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking of so and so. So it was definitely just like one of those songs like you dedicate to the person you're into at the time. You put on your MySpace, you put on your Zanga, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. I remember that song. I don't remember, like you said, 2004, but I remember Lil Flip coming out, and I had some friends that were like, "Oh, you gotta check this guy out. He's like the freestyle king and everything." And he was good. I remember that song and some other songs coming out. But that's funny, man. How songs just give you that nostalgia coming back to the exact moment like that. I love it.
Yeah, and I heard of Lil Flip too. Surprisingly, in the summertime in like 2001, I went to summer camp. I had a buddy from Houston went to summer camp, put me on Lil Flip. I thought he's Filipino. Oh shit, this fool is like half Filipino, but he's definitely the freestyle king. Like I was so blown away with his freestyle skills, and he can definitely rap. Like I remember his freestyles and just his style, his swag, and he can like I watch his freestyles time to time on Instagram. I'm like, damn, this fool, like as someone who freestyles, I can tell this guy is rapping off the top of his head because sometimes there's always that like slight pause after every bar kind of thing. I'm like, oh, this fool is like he didn't memorize this shit. He's definitely coming off the top.
Yeah, that's definitely a lost art in hip hop and rap right now, I think.
Yeah, like freestyle, it's fun. I was like, okay, sidetrack. I remember coming out rapping. The first thing people would say, "Oh, you rap? Rap right now," or "freestyle right now." That was the thing, and I felt like you had to know how to do that, and that's pretty much all I ended up doing. And for a while, I couldn't write songs because all I could do is freestyle. But now I guess it's different. I mean, it's cool to do. Like I remember doing it at parties, like you get super wasted or on one, and you start freestyling, or someone at the party would like know how to rap. Oh, this fool's rapping. Oh, that's fucking rap battle type shit. And it was just fun doing that. Yeah, I don't know if it's like as revered now. There are some people who say, oh, I don't freestyle. But back in my head, I'm like, you don't freestyle? What the fuck? Like, but now it's different. This is a different era. This was again 20 years ago. This was like the thing. There was no check out my Spotify, check out my YouTube. Oh, you rap right now. Everybody's guys rapping, and that was like how people would decide. Okay, you cool or you whack.
Yeah, man. I remember in high school, I had some friends that were big into hip hop, and they kind of got me into more of the like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Black Star, Arsonist, Dilated, and sometimes we would just be driving around, going from party to party or to and from school or whatever. Then someone would put in a beat mixtape, and I'm like, cool, and then they would start flowing, and then they would pass it to me. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no, I'm just here for the vibes, and you guys are my friends. I'm not here to do that. But yeah, some people could do that. And those were the same guys, like kind of like you said, like they could just drop a rhyme right there, whenever, however. But then you ask them like, hey, write me something. They'll just be like, I don't do that. But yeah, it's two different crafts. It's crazy.
It really is, man. Like it was just, I remember I used to write it on a piece of paper, like words that rhyme together. Like I had this orange piece of paper. I folded up my wallet. Okay. Cable, able, gable, table, dreidel. It's one word. Or like gray, day, say, play. And I would have like this piece of paper with words that rhyme. And on my downtime, I would look at these words and all I would do and just walk around the street and observe stuff. Oh, this light is green. This guy's kind of mean. Oh, my room is not dirty. It's clean type shit. Just small things like that, bro. And so every time I hear the word, oh, something cable. Oh, I'm sitting on the table. My TV got cable. Dog, I'm rolling like a dreidel. You know, like that kind of shit. It's just fucking fun, dude. And I really have a blast. Dude, I should do it more often. But just that kind of shit, dude, was just like really fun.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's how you got to do it to really get good at something like that. You just constantly got to be thinking about it, and yeah,
Yeah,
finding that
dude.
inspiration.
Bro, like that's all I would used to do was just think about rhymes. And I kind of wish I could do that again, but like it was obsessive. Like I walk around like the street. What does this street rhyme with? Kind of shit, you know? So yeah. Okay, whose turn is it? Your turn. What was your second song pick?
I put down Lil Rob Summer Nights, and I think I took that from you too.
No, that's cool. Yeah. Talk to us about it.
Well, Lil Rob's from San Diego. He's actually from Solana Beach. So when that came on, people were like, we made it kind of thing. Because San Diego obviously isn't known for its musicians. I mean, it has Blink 182. Gosh, there's not that many rappers from San Diego that are huge like that. And that's one that just blew up the airwaves. And being from around here, it was just kind of amplified that. So we not only was it a good song, we're also proud of it. So we would hear it all the time, all through the summer. Same thing, kind of driving along the coast, windows down, music up. You would, if you're not playing it, someone else was playing it, and just has that real chill vibe to it too. So even if someone else is playing it louder than you are, it's all good.
Yeah. It definitely had a vibe to it, man. So I didn't realize Lil Rob is from San Diego. That's pretty dope, dude. I thought he's from LA. I just figured.
Oh no, he's from Solana Beach, a really small little beach town, but there's an older area with a lot of Hispanic families who've been there generationally, and he's from that area, which is pretty cool because you wouldn't know anything, driving by it. You're just like, oh, this is a cool neighborhood. It's nice. It's been there's a lot of gentrification in that area right now. But even before, you just drive through and not think like someone from this neighborhood, this really small neighborhood, blew up the airwaves, became internet or internationally known. It's pretty cool. And just knowing that, and yeah, man, he actually still rhymes. He still raps, records, produces, edits, not edits, but he was in a music video locally in Oceanside maybe a year or so ago, for an Oceanside rapper, Desi Hollow, I think. And that was pretty cool because a newer rapper who's really good linking up with an old local legend. And it was a pretty good song. I actually don't remember what the name of it was, but yeah, it's pretty cool having like that local tie and real, I guess, accessible local tie, since it's, his neighborhood's just right there. And for us, everything is kind of close.
Right. I also like that San Diego has really good carne asada fries. It's like
yeah,
Alberto's. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we have some pretty good Mexican food down here, but every time I say that, someone from LA is like, get out of here.
I mean, I can't compare, but it kind of makes sense. You're closer to Mexico, but at the same time, like LA's LA. So, I'm pretty sure both are good, but I just know Alberto's came from San Diego and they're known for the carne asada fries. At the California burritos, you put the fries in the burrito. It's pretty fire. Summer Nights was also my thing. I liked that song when I was younger for sure, but it hit more when I was a little older. It kind of reminds me of like Superbad in a way. Hear me out. There's this okay, so for me, Summer Nights is like this romanticization of like a party. It's a summer night. There's a party going on, right? And you're going to kickback, getting high, getting faded, whatever. Meeting a girl you hook up with or someone you want to date. So there's like this preparation. Like, oh, so and so's having a kickback, and a couple of weeks you get your outfit on. Oh, shoes. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna be there? That this whole ritual. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some booze for it. I'm gonna get fucked up beforehand, get my party supplies, whatever. So for me, that's like the thing. And cruising through the neighborhood in a warm summer night, I ride my bicycle to commute. And man, it feels so good. Like on a hot day, it sucks riding your bike, but at nighttime, it feels warm. Everything feels good. Everything feels all right. A line that I laugh at that's kind of funny. It's like, I couldn't ask for no better weather. I'm right next to the Pacific, to be specific, which is pretty.
Yeah,
It's a bar. Like people clown on it, but I think it's a fucking bar, dude.
that's funny.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just I thought it's a really, like you said, a fun vibe. Again, sometimes I tie it with like a past romantic fling, like because I think I started talking to her in the summertime kind of thing. But I like this one line he said, "Them summer nights can keep a smile on your face." And for me, it does, dude. Like,
Hmm.
for better, for worse, a lot of times I associate summer with like using drugs. I'm clean now, but like when I'm having a shitty day, sometimes I think, oh man, I remember summertime I got fucked up. Puts a smile on my face. I just gotta be mindful, like I don't really relapse. But man, so many like so many fun times in the summer. I feel like it was more back when we were younger. Now it's just like it's summer, it's cool, whatever. But back then, for me at least, oh, we get fucked up, we're partying, it's summer kind of shit. But now it's a little different. So definitely, it's a nostalgic thing for me where I look back, I'm like, damn, that was fun. Like I'm 36 now. I see like the youngins buying alcohol, like obviously the 21. I'm like, oh fuck these fools. I remember when I was these fools' age, man. It was crazy. I think I have this like scenario in my head. I remember I was doing this, doing that. So definitely puts a smile on my face, man.
Yeah, man. Thinking now, like you said, seeing these younger kids but you're like, oh wait, they're just like 21, they're 22. But yeah, man, like it's going to be one of those things where I tell my kids later when they grow up, like, oh no, you can't be doing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, I did those things. I did much worse than those things, but you guys don't do it. Like it's a reason why I'm telling you not to do it. So please don't do it.
That must be tough, though. I mean, maybe I'll have another podcast about fatherhood, but yeah, it must be difficult, like, because you've been through it and everything. And like, I don't have kids, but I'd imagine, you got to be a role model and tell them, don't do this, but it tell you what, but you did that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. I hear people say that. But yeah, when they get older, it's like, oh, and oh, my next door neighbor, we're good friends. Her daughter is a senior in high school, and she's like telling her not to do all this stuff, not do all this stuff, and I'm like, why are you telling her to do that or not do that? Because we both know. And she's like, because I did it, and I did much worse, and I don't want her to do any of those things I did. So it's definitely one
Yeah.
of those things, especially when these two little monsters we have get older.
Yeah, man. It's tough. I mean, like, bro, I remember I didn't drink actually back then. I was in high school, so that was relatively good. But remember, like Hypnotic, that was like a big thing.
Ugh.
No, I didn't. Okay,
Oh,
I
I
didn't
had
really
it,
like.
but ugh.
I didn't like the taste, but damn, Fabulous made that shit look cool as fuck. Like he always had it in his videos. I remember Lloyd Banks had the song "I'm So Fly," and there's like this robot
Oh
thing
man.
poured out the thing.
Hmm.
Remember that video? Remember that song?
I remember the song. Yeah,
Dude, that's like
man, I forgot
Lloyd
about
Banks
Lloyd
was like,
Banks.
bro, maybe we can do another episode on this shit, but G-Unit on 2004, G-Unit mixtapes, that shit was next level.
I remember having someone put me on a website that sold the mixtape CDs, so you didn't have to like try to download them, and it would be like Machiavelli 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It would be the Nas mixtapes. It'll be 50 Cent mixtapes, like when he was doing a lot of stuff in between Get Rich and Die Trying and Massacre or whatever he had in between. All the mixtapes, and it was all like on this website. This is kind of funny because it's like, oh, you don't have to download it; just order it from us.
There was a site, I remember, I'm sure there was a few sites you could download, like you can physically order mixtapes. I remember, I think there was a website, Clinton Sparks, it was a DJ, and I bought like a CD of instrumentals to rap over. That's what I remember.
Oh wow,
And obviously you can't do it now. They cracked down on that shit. But do you remember that website, Dat Piff?
I heard of it.
It was
Rings
a
a bell.
mixtape. It was a mixtape website. You can like download shit off. It closed down. I think it shut down like this month.
Oh, that's
But
recent.
yeah. But definitely summer nights, man. Little Rob. I mean, just the vibe of it all, and just watching the video, I was like, damn, like we used to dress like that shit. Like again, that
Oh
was like
man.
21 years ago.
Oh, you put out a picture recently. I forget how long ago you said it was, but I was like, man, that is some old. That's an old picture. That's an old ass picture.
2009. I was an emo kid. Yeah, I was a scene kid. Yeah,
Oh, that's
man.
funny.
Yeah. I think okay, so I think it's your turn. Like I think it's your last song. What song did you have?
Well, I didn't put a particular song. It's
Okay.
recent, fairly recent. Dua Lipa, her album Future Nostalgia. So it actually came out like right at the start of COVID, like March 2020. But of course, they had all the singles leading up to it. So everything shut down. Everyone was staying home. So we pretty much already, we got these like two fill up, like, like the blue plastic pools that you just fill up with water from the hose and just let the kids play. We had that. We had like two or three of them in our backyard. We had sprinkler stuff for the kids to play. We'd go across the street we have a giant parking lot nearby. So we'd let our kids, neighbor kids, everyone just ride around on their bikes, shoot hoops, do all the stuff. And we'd always be playing Future Nostalgia album from like beginning to end every single day. First thing the kids got up, we just play some music, get them all hyped, play it throughout the day. And by the end of the day, we swear probably played the album from front to back like 10 times. Her album's not that long. It's like maybe 45 minutes. So an hour just crushes it real quick. So all those songs all day, every day in the summer. But even nowadays, I didn't really get tired of it because now when I hear any of those songs from that album, there's like Levitating, Don't Stop Me Now, Fever, like the whole album. It just reminds me of like the kids having fun, the kids being in the backyard, playing in the water, across the street with their friends, riding bikes around. So it's kind of crazy because with the topic, I was kind of thinking like, oh, these are the songs from, when we were younger that really remind me of having fun and doing all this. And now I'm like older with these kids. It's like now that whole album reminds me of all the times that they had. I don't know if they feel the same way. They probably don't, but it makes me feel that same way of just every time I hear it, just reminds me of them running around, having fun, playing. So not so much a song in particular, but just like the whole album. Any of those songs can jump on right now and I'll be like, that's from that album.
Right. I got to check that out. I never heard of that artist. But another question, man, is it difficult, like, since you have kids to like be mindful of like what you listen to? And because, you like hip hop and a lot of hip hop has a lot of cursing. Do you like put on the clean versions kind of thing?
Sometimes I'll play the clean versions and sometimes it sounds fine because they'll just kind of like blur out the word real quick. Sometimes they'll like scratch the cuss words, so it sounds kind of weird. Sometimes I just play it straight, explicit version, and the kids will say, they said the F word. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad. And I'll change the song. And I'm like, man, I wanted to listen to that. Then the next song, cuss word. I'm like, that was another good song. Got to change it. So
yeah.
I'm like teaching them, I got to teach them to listen to it and not say it, or at least not point it out because I want to enjoy the song. But yeah, it's kind of weird because even today I picked them up and the music already playing on my phone was, I think I had like Snoop Dogg on or something. So right away, turn on the car. I'm like, F word, change the song. The next Snoop Dogg song, F word. I'm like, I'll just turn on the radio because they'll point it out every single time. And I'm like, stop it. I want to listen to this.
Yeah, man, that must be tough. I feel like too, back then, artists, I don't know, their label told them to do it, but there were some versions where like they dubbed over like if it was like if they said a bad word or like a fucked up line, they would like rap. There's like a clean version where the line is something totally different.
Man, it's funny because just the other day I was watching, it was on Instagram, it popped up. It was Tupac's I Ain't Mad at You video. So you know how Instagram will like play so long, then you swipe for the next block of like minute or whatever. And it was the cut version. And I'm trying to sing to it, rap to it. And I'm like, man, it's a clean version. It sounds so weird because he'll change all the lines. And if, like when they do that, it doesn't even sound right. It doesn't even flow right. But they, like you said, they have to do it, I guess, to, put it on the radio.
Yeah.
And that was a huge song back then too.
Yeah. Or I was listening to Lean Back today and I didn't realize it was a clean version, but they put sound effects over it. Like you said, they put like the DJ scratch or like some cool sound effect. And it's pretty interesting. I remember all I put out was like music with explicit lyrics. And then someone told me like, yeah, like cool songs, but man, can you make a clean version? Because I don't need to hear my kids saying like you saying like the F word and all this kind of crazy shit. And I'm like, you know, kind of a good point. So now when I make songs, I make a clean version just because I'm realizing that I'm 36. People probably listening to me are probably around my age. And if probably around my age, you probably have kids. So I'm gonna give that option, put the clean version out. Have a clean version available if they want to listen to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have anything new coming out?
Um, right now I'm working on an album, like just little by little. Again, when I was younger, I felt like, damn, I have like less responsibilities, bro. I could, I don't have kids or anything or like family, but I had less responsibilities or I didn't really care. So now it's like, yeah, music, I love music, but damn, there's priorities now. I got to pay
Yeah.
rent first. I got to pay my bills first. I got to pay off my student loan first. Got to do all these things, help out family sometimes. And then if there's extra money, okay, make music. If not, try next paycheck. So that's been kind of a struggle for me, man. Like just accepting that. Because back then I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I mean, not that I didn't care, but like, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that, consequences, whatever. But now it's like, well, I remember when I did that, I got into debt. So should I, I learned how to prioritize now. It's like, damn, should I make music like, or be super broke or save that money to, the money I would have sent to my producer to make a beat and eat. Because back then, I don't know how I did it. I think it was the drugs where I did so much that like I didn't need to eat a lot, but now I don't do it anymore. Okay, I got to eat. I'm going to be hungry. So long story short, I'm definitely working on an album little by little. I'm just trying to be more patient with myself.
Okay. Same thing though. I talked to my friend. I've had him on my podcast a couple of times, Eric Devon, and every time we talk about stuff, and that's a good point how you broke it down. Like you have bills, you have everything going on. Because I always tell him like, dude, just go to the studio right now and do it. He's like, dude, it's not that easy. I'm like, what do you mean? Just go do it. But then he's like, you got to get the studio time. You got to get your producer or whoever's going to do it. It might be their place, or you might go to like one of those places that have everything for you. But then it's a setup. He said it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole thing. You can't just simply walk in, drop a rhyme, and just walk away. So, and same thing. He has bills. He has adulthood. Man, adulthood hits everyone in the head real hard. So he's like, man, it's not that easy. I wish I could. And then he's trying to do the socials for it, and like trying to do all the content, online content related to the song. And he's like, man, it's not easy just dropping a single, like just one single. It's like all this work, all this energy. And sometimes by the end of the day, he's just like, man, I'm too tired. If I do it, I'll get like 3 hours of sleep and I got to go back to work. I'm like, man, I didn't realize it was that hard.
Yeah, man. I can relate to what he's saying because I feel like before social media and all that, before it became super, super big, you can just like put out music, put on SoundCloud, whatever. But now it's like, okay, I got to make content around this song. I got to do promotion that might cost money or just do a content around it, like breakdowns and stuff. And damn, like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. Dude, I'm tired a lot, man. I come home from work. I don't want to do shit. Like, I really don't, man. I like my job. It's physically demanding, but when I get home, I'm like, fuck, dude. I just want to chill out. And sometimes I feel guilty about it, but I got to tell myself, like, this is how it is, man. You're getting older and there's priorities now, and yeah, there's so much that goes behind it if you want to like really go for it in that sense, so I can totally relate with him when he says that, man, there's so much to do. There's so much behind it. And, you got to prioritize, like me, I got to prioritize my sleep. Again, when I was younger, cool, man, pull an all-nighter. That's fine. Do 2, cool, fuck it. But now it's like, okay, I can't keep saying fuck it. Yeah. I said that so many times. I can't be doing that, man. I need like at least 6 hours of sleep. And yeah.
Yeah, man, adulting sucks. Getting older sucks. It's like no escaping it, man. It's like, yeah, even nowadays. Actually, I just recorded just today, actually, for my episode coming out this weekend. And I think I mentioned something about like all summer I wanted to get up early. I wanted to go like work out and just kind of get the day started like that. And I'll be good with it for like, 2 or 3 days. And then I'm like, you know what, I'll take a rest on this day. And then it just chain reaction. Next thing I know, it's like the end of summer. I'm like, how many times did I actually get up early and do what I wanted to do, get to bed early? And yeah, I don't know what it takes. I got to figure it out. Fountain of youth or something.
And it's difficult too because I mean, for me, I tell myself, well, you're just being lazy, bro. But it's different for you because you have a family. They come first, and I can't imagine even doing that because yeah, you want to work on yourself and do all that, but they got to come first. It's a high priority. So yeah, hats off to you, man.
Oh, thanks. It's yeah. If I always tell them like, hey guys, if you just listen the first time, it makes things a lot easier for me and for you guys because I don't have to yell at you. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. You gotta check out my episodes with my daughter, and that's what I deal with every day.
I'm gonna check it out.
She's
Also, what I
wild.
like, dude, you do a lot of solo episodes. That's so difficult for me, man. Like it. What's nice when I do like interviews like this, bro, we can have a dialogue. When I'm by myself, it's like, fuck, I'm just talking into the void, man, for like 20, 30 minutes. And it gets kind of awkward for me sometimes. So I like that you do that. I think it's great. It kind of like show off your personality in that sense. So I got to do more of that.
Oh man, no. Sometimes I edit out some stuff because I just kind of go on rants, like you said, talking to the void, where I'm just like, just talking, and I just kind of sit there. I'm like, man, ain't no one listening to this shit anyway. And then I'm like, okay, I have to edit that out. Sometimes it feels
Yeah.
like that, but as long as one person's listening, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, man. I mean, same here, dude. I've been doing it for a while, but same thing. Like, is someone really gonna listen to this? But it's like, at the end of the day, honestly, I think I'm doing it for myself. I feel some sense of accomplishment just recording, uploading, and posting. It feels like I'm doing something worthwhile with my time. You know, again, like I don't have always have the finances for music. This is relatively not as expensive. Like, yeah, I got to pay monthly for this, and that, but like it's fun, it's cool, and I think I'm more of an introvert as I'm older now. So this is a cool way to socialize.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I enjoy doing it. I like the process. What's funny, Diana, my part-time co-host, my wife, she's on here sometimes. I every time we sit down to record, she's like, "All right, let's go." I'm like, "It's not that easy. I gotta check your mic. I gotta check my mic. We have to do the sound check. I have to look at my notes. I have to get my water." She's like, and I'm like, "You can't just walk in and say start recording." I'm like, I always have to explain it to her every time. I'm like, it's a process.
It's definitely a process. There's time. Okay, I remember once episode I did by myself. I recorded like 5 times because I came out with no notes. I'm like, let me just wing it. No, dude, I kept stumbling. I didn't know what to do. I had to stop, write notes, and even then it was tough, man. So hats off to you, dude, for like doing solo stuff a lot. Again, it's tough. And yeah, there's definitely a process to it. I feel like when you see YouTubers or like podcasters, like the big ones, it seems like they probably just go off the top, and sometimes they do, but I can't do that. I'll just lose train of thought, or I'll just go off on a random tangent or forget what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I definitely be writing notes now. But my very, very, very first episode, not my official one that's called episode 1, but I actually recorded before that. I talked for 5 minutes and then it cut off because there was a time limit on something. I was trying to do it on my phone with a different program or something, and it cut off. So I ended up talking for 15 minutes, but it only got the first 5 minutes. And I looked at my phone. I was like, what the hell was that? And I kind of went deep. I like really went like deep about some personal stuff that was going on, but it stopped at 5 minutes. I was like, I'll save it. And I think I released it later as like my first real episode 1, but it was like down the road, well after episode 1. I'm like, man, I got to figure out how to do this. I'm
Yeah,
still trying to figure it out. I still don't know what I'm doing.
it's all good. Same here, man. Sometimes just those little those like audio difficulties, technical difficulties, they kind of like break my spirit. I'm like, fuck, man. especially on a good rant, like you said, something so cool. You're talking really well, like all these cool points, or maybe it's not recording, or maybe like the file's corrupted. It's really hard to recreate that. It really is. Like it, yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I just gotta. I mean, just keep doing it. Every episode is real life practice, I guess.
Yeah, man. So I think that's all the time we have. Okay, so if people want to check your podcast out, what is it called? Kind of what's it about, or where can we find it?
It's Now We're Here podcast. I'm on Instagram, mostly on Instagram and Threads. I'm not on YouTube or anything like that, but you can find me on either one of those. And I pretty much just talk about, for the most part, just the happenings in my life, whether it's going to Chicago for trips, going to LA, kid stuff, a lot of kid stuff. I mentioned earlier, Diana, my wife, she'll be on it sometimes. Once in a while, we'll have one or both of the kids, or impromptu, they'll just kind of show up and suddenly they're on the episode. It's really unstructured and we go on tangents, but I mean that's kind of how life is.
Yeah.
But yeah, find me on Threads. I actually kind of just put more. I do put some podcast stuff on there, but I kind of just put what's on my mind and just random thoughts, kind of keep it like that sort of. But yeah, it's what it is. It's just all random anyway. It's life.
Yeah, I like that. Same thing. I mean, with Threads, I think that's what people really like. I mean, I promote my podcast here and there, but I think people just like just hearing random shit in your life. I think that's what people really like. That's why they go
Yeah,
there.
Threads have been really cool.
I
Because
agree.
I never had Twitter, and I know I never ever wanted Twitter. And everyone who I see on Threads are like, "Oh, Threads is actually really cool because it's not like Twitter. People are just all negative on Twitter. It's just a funnel of shit talking." And then Threads, as soon as I got there, I was like, "I don't know what to do." But then suddenly, it's just community, real quick.
Yeah, honestly, I have at least this year, since I've been on Threads, I've had at least 10 people from Threads on the podcast. So I totally agree. It's definitely a different space, and hopefully it stays like this because I know usually the bigger it gets, the more it changes. But yeah, man. Well, thank you for being on the show. Have
Oh,
a good rest of your
absolutely.
day.